Let's begin with the title of a speech. The Rivers of Blood. You know it's coming about. You know it was made by Enoch Powell. But I want you just to listen to the sound only of a clip I found on this, okay? You may have to be a bit patient because I'm going to play the whole clip, but I'm not showing the man's face. You hear in the introduction to the clip that he said that everything that he has ever done has been led by his love of this nation. Love of this nation, thread, he said, runs through everything he has ever done. Listen and think of the Tories as they are now. Listen and think of the Windrush generation. Listen and think of Grenfell. Listen and think of institutionalised racism. Listen and think of immigration vans. But above all, please just listen. 1 second, just while I find it. Okay. Here it goes.
Enoch Powell was the most controversial of Tory politicians before Margaret Thatcher. His devotees claimed he was a man of unwavering principle. His detractors, that he represented the respectable base of gutter politics. The former Wolverhampton MP himself says that the thread which runs through his life is his belief in the nation.
In this country, in 15 or 20 years' time, the black man will have the whip hand over the white man. Well, I can already hear the chorus of execration. How dare I say such a horrible thing? How dare I stir up trouble and inflame feelings by repeating such a conversation? My answer is that I do not have the right not to do so.
The issue of race was to bring Powell into confrontation with Heath. Powell decided to quote directly from the experiences with immigrants of his white constituents. Only parts of that polemical speech were filmed, but Powell has kept his original text. He began by attacking the Labour government's bill that outlawed racial discrimination.
The discrimination and the deprivation, the sense of alarm and of resentment lie not with the immigrant population, but with those among whom they have come and are still coming. This is why to enact legislation of the kind before Parliament at this moment is to risk throwing a match onto gunpowder.
Powell quoted a letter he said he'd received about an elderly widow living in Wolverhampton, the only white resident left in her street. He quoted from the letter, "She's becoming afraid to go out. Windows are broken. She finds excreta pushed through her letterbox. When she goes to the shop, she's followed by children, charming, wide-grinning pickaninnies. They cannot speak English, but one word they know, racialist, they chant."
Those whom the gods wish to destroy, they first make mad. We must be mad, literally mad as a nation, to be permitting the annual inflow of some 50,000 dependents who are for the most part the material of the future growth of the immigrant descended population. It is like what...
Right, I'll cut Enoch off there. Just remember what you've just listened to. The future growth of the immigrant population. We must be mad. A match to gunpowder. Just remember those phrases and think how often they've been repeated. In a different form, because we don't generally talk about racialists now, we talk about racists. Think how often they've been repeated. Think how often they've been repeated on the Tory watch. Think how much racism was behind Brexit. Remember Powell there quoting the letter from the little old lady, saying she was the only white person on her street. Excreta was put through her letterbox. And there's a phrase he uses there that Buffo, dear old Buffo, Buffo. Buffo likes talking about pickaninnies with watermelon smiles. Did you hear the word pickaninny there? May, let's face it, an inveterate racist. Everything proved by the Empire Windrush scandal. Proved by we can deport now and investigate later. May, born into a generation of white imperial post-colonial privilege, with a father who probably talked about sending white missionaries to civilize black people. Probably saying to Teresa, do you know they didn't even wear clothes until we brought the gospel to them and told them all about Jesus? Oh, Teresa, you don't want to live with people like that, do you? We are God's people. We are superior. We are the leaders of the flock. We are British. Tell me, I'm not debating whether or not that should be heard or as part of a film or a documentary or something. I'm not going into that debate here. But what I am doing here is saying how much has changed since Enoch, a good Tory, made his rivers of blood speech. I think within the Tory party, not a lot. Please pass this on.